Dirty dirt is a simple way to explain what happens when soil that's contaminated and deemed contaminated down in Victoria. So for example, out at the Canadian Forces Base, there's some 1,450 truckloads of contaminated soil that's headed for the Cowichan Valley, and somehow they declare it as industrial waste as it's traveling over the Malahat with nothing actually, no work being done on the soil. It somehow goes from contaminated soil to industrial waste. Our communities are very upset about it, and all of the local politicians on the CVRD, in fact, we're here at the Union of BC Municipalities. I talked to them about this issue, and they're very concerned that they've raised the alarm, told the provincial government that they would like, protection from that kind of action. They would like to be able to say to the province, hey, we don't think you should approve this without the communities supporting the actions that are being proposed that could potentially affect their watershed. They're worried about any leaching into the rivers and into the lake. They've got Shawnigan Lake involved up there in another matter that's again very concerning to the communities about the impact of those kind of activities. So dirty dirt is a huge issue, and it is about contaminated soil. While I agree that contaminated soil has to go somewhere, it has to be done on a basis that's safe and protects the environment. We're not opposed to treatment of dirt. What we are opposed to is where it's just allowed to be dumped and there isn't the safeguards and environmental protections put in place to ensure the communities are protected, and our water and our environment in particular.
Well, it strikes me as odd that when it starts out in Victoria, it's something different from when it arrives.
Right.
How does that happen?
Well, again, it's the lack of enforcement and compliance regulations, and often this government embarked on a process that they were proud of, this deregulation. The problem with deregulation, and I recently met with a group concerned about our watershed as a whole, and they often talked about the lack of compliance and enforcement with some of the regulations, and I pointed out that, look, if you can have all the well-meaning intentions in the world to have legislation or even regulations that's bare bones, but if there's no compliance and enforcement and no real teeth for the government to act, you're really left with just a bunch of words that don't protect the community, and that's a real concern. And
local governments have been unsuccessful in discussing with this with the province?
Well, exactly. They're very frustrated that they've sent letters and said, please don't do this. They've come right out and asked for this to be stopped until there's further actions taken and protections for the community. And unfortunately, the approvals have just recently been granted again for this 1,450 truckloads. And so they're, the local politicians are telling me that they're very frustrated.